What's going on, Phoenicians? I am sitting here on my bed like I used to do for these sit-down vlogs, and sorry this video took forever to make. Also, I know. Let's not talk about it. Let's just forget about it. If you want to support me, and if you already enjoyed this video, then hit that thumbs down button. I'm kidding. Anyway, this should be a serious video, but this is my YouTube channel, you know, this is me talking to you guys in my tone of voice, right? This has nothing to do with my company, but this is about how to start a company in Japan like I did. And the reasons I started a company in Japan were quite a lot, actually. It's not just because I needed to get a visa, but there was something I've had planned and I've been working on with a number of people, investors, potential clientele, all that stuff, for a very long time, for a release date or a startup date about 5 years from now. And right after the Olympics, I wanted to start this company. But a number of circumstances and a number of opportunities were presented to me, and I decided to go ahead and just start it. It was an idea that I've had in mind, and well, one of many ideas I had in mind, so that's where all of this came from, basically. So without further ado, let me jump into it. Basically, what you want to think about when you start a company in Japan is, what do you want to do? That's the most important thing you need to think of. In my opinion, you guys should really focus on something simple. Like what I'm doing, right? Like, for example, a film production company, right? It might sound very broad. Yeah, film production is broad, but what my aim is to provide small businesses the opportunity for professional film editing and production, right? There was a lot of other ideas I had attached to this idea, but I simplified it down to one main idea, which leaves a lot of room for expansion later on. Now, I had other ideas as well. Like I was working on 5 or 6 different company ideas for a long time. Like I've been looking at these ideas, I've been passing them by investors, passing them by people who, could give me money to run the company, right? And a lot of people gave me a lot of good feedback, which is why I settled with this idea. And the main advice I have for you is keep it simple. Just don't think of too many things at once, because you're gonna get overwhelmed, especially if you're a one-man job like I am. And that brings me to my second thing you gotta think about, is what type of company you're gonna run at. In Japan, there's 2 types of companies that you can run and get a visa for, okay? You can get a visa for a kabushiki gaisha or joint stock company. That's the majority of Japanese companies. Like, Honda is a kabushiki gaisha, Toyota, right? It's across the board, basically, and literally across the board. Once your company expands and you have a board of directors, that board of directors has control over the direction of the company. They have the voting power, all that stuff, right? Whereas what I'm doing is called Godo Kaisha, an LLC. If you're a small business, small startup company, if you're just like, a one-man job like I am, or a couple of, just a few people, go with Godo Kaisha, GK LLC, right? Because one, you're taxed a lot differently and cheaply. Well, I'll get to that later. This is stuff you should study about in business management class, or ask your lawyer, right? You're gonna need a lawyer to set this stuff up. But everybody who has ownership in the company has an equal voice in the company. So it sounds like it's the term limited liability is a little bit of an oxymoron here, but it's a very good idea if you're a small company. So once you decide whether to go with an LLC or a joint stock company, and once you decide what you're going to do with your company, the third step is incorporation. This is where the lawyers come in. This is where all the investment money that you're supposed to be gathering this whole time, that's where it's going to be coming in handy. Remember, you need 5 million yen in company value capital in order to get your visa. Get a little bit more than 5 million yen so you can spend on lawyers, because you're going to need the lawyers, which is what I did basically. So I got all the lawyers together, we drafted a number of things, and we send it off to the Legal Affairs Bureau, and then once all that stuff comes back, you have a company. But before you send it all back to to the Legal Affairs Bureau, you got to make sure you have a dedicated office space. And for small startups, that's very difficult to get. If you're a bigger company, or you're starting a rather large organization, like for example, some of you guys, like for example, I'm Rested, you guys are starting a school, right? If you're gonna be starting a school, make sure you have dedicated investors to write you guys, letters like, this is a good idea, and that way you can rent the space needed to be able to start your Eikaiwa school, right? Because unless you have a lot of backing to your organization, it's gonna be kind of difficult to get a company. But for what I did, I went with Regis. I mentioned that in a previous video. I'll do a video on Regis later. I'm gonna see if they wanna, like, some of the people from Regis want to appear in a video or not. But they're a pretty good option for startups, 1 or 2 person jobs like I am, and it's it's a great cheap idea for an office space that actually counts. Okay, you got your idea, you got your office space, you got your articles of incorporation, and then from there, launch. From launch, that's when you get your management visa. From there, that's when you start doing all the bureaucratic stuff. With the visa, you get, you register stuff at the tax office at the same time, but you're also getting a bank account opened up. You're starting your advertisements, you're getting the website set up, all that stuff like that, right? Normally you should have a website before you actually launch, but in my case, I had to wait until I get my bank account set up, and I'm still working on that right now. Japan's very bureaucratic, so like I mentioned in a previous piece of Z video, they'll help you out, but it takes a long time. So I'm in that process right now, getting the bank account set up, and then I can acquire a domain name and all that stuff like that. It's very complicated, but you'll get it done. Trust me, you'll get it done if you're tenacious enough, right? And then from there, that's when you start operating your company. So that's kind of an overview on how to start a business in Japan. So if you guys have any questions, let me know down below in the description. The next video will be about acquiring an office space, and it's similar to the video I have not made yet about getting an apartment. I am moving soon. I'm going to make that video when I start my moving process next month. So if you like this video, hit that like button. I know that I'm getting a lot of dislikes recently. A lot of you guys know what's going on. I appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing. But just don't feed the trolls. That's all I can really say. Or just have fun with them. Just like pork roast, right? If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Leave some questions down below on what I can answer for future videos. Serious or not, like seriously, that's a good topic. A lot of people have been asking me to make a video about this, so I'm glad I'm finally able to make a video about this. And as always, I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy, Phoenicians.